I kicked something. Hey, what's
Stop
up?
kicking stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not. You can't make me, so.
That is true.
Dude, every episode. Anyways, alright, welcome back to another episode of Art of the Jam, everybody.
What?
It is that time again, and for this episode, you want to stay tuned after the jam because we're doing the old Jammy Sam. You remember that?
Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah. Well, I want to give it a couple of tries before we. You know what I mean? We haven't even got there yet, as far as you guys.
Do you even start editing that one?
No, because we're like episodes away, but. So we're kind of talking. We're kind of talking into the future right now. They don't know about this. They don't know about shit. But
You know what's funny?
What?
Never mind. No,
Well,
actually, before we get into it, let's do the question.
Well, dude, that's literally what I'm doing.
Well, I was
You're
gonna say
stepping on my shit.
I was gonna say something. I was like, "Now I was wait,"
Okay.
but I'll forget about it probably.
Okay. Well, anyways, so but I'm gonna give a little snippet to what the topic of the show today is too. So it's like they know that they need to stay for after the jam, right? Because we're gonna split it up here. So after the jam, if you stick around, we are going to talk. Our topic for today is funk monks, groove gurus, or false predatory prophets misusing the magic of music for profit and or power.
Where did you come up with that?
I literally just wrote it down as you seen me before I hit record. But yes, we are going to discuss whether these musicians or groups of musicians or artists are funk monks, groove gurus, or false predatory prophets misusing the magic of music to brainwash people for profit and or power, and things like that. Cults. That's what really it all boils down to. But brings me to my question. What is a band or artist whom you would give up all your morals and values to follow blindly into eternity because they are just that good to you? Anyways, how about you answer that in the comments below, and you can hear us talk about it for ourselves after the intro. Yo. Anyways, guys, we are back from the intro now. I believe. I think so. So yes, Space Camp. I know this is kind of a wild question because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that probably wouldn't blindly follow anybody because you get it. We're being creative here. You know what I mean? Let's just think about a band that you love so very much.
I already know this answer.
So you're saying what Corey Taylor would
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Corey Taylor is your messiah?
Fuck yeah, dude. Since I was fucking wee lad.
A wee lad.
A wee lad.
I honestly, and I'll
That's my favorite band of all time. Like it always has and always will be. You know, like I have like favorite bands, but like my favorite band of all time is Slipknot. Like,
so even if they just like, even if Corey Taylor and the rest of Slipknot, even if they like poisoned 800 people and they all died, you'd be like, I still love their music.
You know what's funny? They're already dementic as shit.
Well, yeah, but they're not literally killing people,
No,
or
no. Oh, but I mean, if it was like come down to that, yeah, maybe I think a little different of them, but it still would like it wouldn't change the fact that their music inspires me still, and
right, right.
sorry, I don't. That one's kind of like hard. Like once you like are into a band so long, and then you hear some crazy shit like that, like how can you like not listen to it? Like yeah, they may be a piece of shit, but their music's still good.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree with like separating the art from the artist.
Right.
I totally get that, but it's like I said, I full disclosure here. I wrote this question literally while I was sitting here before I hit record. So, I haven't even given this any thought. But honestly, like you think about like think about a lead singer or a musician like that's just so charismatic. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like now I'm trying to make the question work because like I you know what I mean. It's like separate the art from the artist. Um,
It's a
who
good question though.
who? Yeah, I appreciate that. I just it's very hard now because I don't even know who I would follow blindly into eternity if they had a you know if they had a say if like a musician created a cult or something like that. It's like and they had some pretty like you know dope ideas. I don't know. I'm trying to I'm trying to think. I don't know. But yeah, we can
It's gross.
what?
I just burped. It was
Oh,
like
man, I don't know, man. That's a kind of a crazy one.
you
Honestly,
get
no.
yourself.
No, I'll say this, the band Goat, not in like a not in like follow the leader type of way, but if they were just like come with us,
Right.
I would be like, "Yes, I will come with you."
Oh, like
Cuz they just look dope and they look like they would just like go like live in the woods and beat on drums
I
and
feel like they would
hunt.
fly an alien ship.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't say an alien ship, but the technology is of magic. Do you know what I mean? Not like anti-gravity propulsion systems and shit. It would be
Right.
like fucking spell casting type of shit. Like I don't know, it's like fucking Legend of Zelda shit or something. I don't know. I don't know. That's fucking crazy to me. I need to stop
No,
saying I don't know.
that's
I
a
don't know.
very interesting question, honestly, because there's so many great musicians that I am very inspired by.
Yeah, for sure.
So that one definitely is a hard one, but I had to think of like which one that I'm like mostly crazy about, like my entire life. Slipknot, Corey,
Mm,
and he's got a wide range of like vocals because he can literally do anything.
yeah. I'm just like who I'm just trying to think of who's like hot.
Oh,
like
I cannot. I know. Or this lead singer of Ginger. I know you don't like metal, but her name like Tabitha something. But they're from Ukraine, and
ooh.
dude, she's banging.
Yeah, see if you bring
And
it
voice of an angel and like the growl of a demon all in one. It's
if
the
you
craziest shit.
yeah, if you bring if it's a female, that makes it a little different cuz then I'm like me and my friends used to be obsessed with the singer of Flyleaf because
Oh,
only because not we, you know what a Hummer is?
yes.
Well, we always were like, man, we would love for her to just give us just scream Hummer, just a scream Hummer. And look up what a Hummer is. Urban Dictionary, that shit. I'm not gonna explain it on here, but no,
Scream Hummer.
yeah.
That was terrible.
Um,
Or Haley Williams.
Haley Williams is. Oh fuck! What am I thinking? If Betty Davis started a cult,
Oh shit.
I would follow her not to just eternity. I would follow her to any fucking I would go to Allah. I would fucking Nirvana. I would heaven, hell. For just a little, just for a little bit of that Betty, you know. I would fucking I'd follow her. I think blindly, because I think she's actually, you know, got a. I don't know. She just seems. She's dead. Rest in peace. But I feel like she like legitimately has a good head on her shoulders. Like because she was just a character on stage. Like she was pretty much testing the status quo by being so sexual because it was like such a male dominated industry at the time, and so she was like not allowed on television and shit because of how vulgar and as a woman she was. There's not a lot of live performances out there on like YouTube or shit and anything. So that kind of sucks.
Wait, they don't have really anything of her?
You could probably find a couple, but it's like nothing extensive because nobody would want her on like she wouldn't be on network
Nowadays,
television.
dude.
Yeah. But she also could have very well started her own fucking religious sect because when she fell out of the spotlight, she went and lived in like a monastery for some time. I'm not sure. But I thought that was pretty crazy. But yeah.
That's like my favorite part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Goes and like refines herself.
Right. I think that's pretty dope as well. So we got a long topic to move through, so I'm gonna keep the thing keep this ball rolling here. But I'll go ahead and I'll do album of the week. But album of the week is I decided because we're gonna cover this is Captain Beefheart's "Safe as Milk," right?
I love that fucking title.
Yeah, it's I believe
cool
it's
album cover too.
yeah, and the back of it's pretty dope too. It's kind of the same vibe. But
I like honestly. How do you determine what is front and what is back?
I mean, like,
oh yeah, title name. I was trying to be.
and this is the opening. Even though I can't remember if Jimi Hendrix "Axis Bold as Love." I can't remember if it's backwards or upside down. I can't remember. But I have it upstairs. I can't fucking remember. But it's one of those weird ones that's yeah, upside down or backwards or some shit. But yeah, Captain Beefheart's "Safe as Milk." It's like kind of like a Delta bluesy type of record. It's very tame for what's to come of him, because we're actually going to cover. The reason I picked this one is because we're going to cover it in today's topic. Not this album, but the album that came after this, which is entitled, and I've mentioned it before on here. I don't know if you remember, but I've mentioned briefly the album, The Elusive Trout Mask Replica, and we'll get into that because it has everything to do with groove gurus, funk monks, and or culty mofugs that are a little weird. But so yeah, give "Safe as Milk" a listen, Captain Beefheart. Captain Beefheart was one of Frank Zappa's like high school friends, and actually Frank Zappa gave him the name Captain Beefheart, which I think is kind of cool. But his name's like Don Van Vliet, which is still kind of a cool name. But it is what it is. But yeah, album of the week, Captain Beefheart's "Safe as Milk." If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and go fucking listen to it because it's dope. I think my favorite song on it, go ahead and listen to Abba Zaba. I like that shit. Abba Zaba is dope. And Plastic Factory. Fuck yeah.
We got Dr. John's E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-A.
Wait, what? You listen to Dr. John?
Yeah.
That kind of surprises me. He's like one of my favorite people on the face of the earth.
Because I'm getting into that, like, that whole realm of sound.
Dr. John has the walk on gilded splinters.
Yeah. But the I-K-Y-A, me and my man, me and my man, my God.
Oh, I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah, that one. That one's...
See, that's kind of weird
Hey,
because
now. Hey,
now, you're a rock star. Get your
no,
game
no,
on.
no.
No. You know what kind of sucks about that is it's kind of wild that you are into Dr. John because as alike me and Josh have always been, he hated Dr. John, and I would always listen to that song. Must have been the right place. Must have been the right time. Yeah, and he was like, I hate that song, and it's like, how dope is that fucking rhythm where it's like,
Right.
and then he goes, he must have been the wrong day. Like,
Oh.
that rhythm is also in a Spirit song.
And also, like that whole like era is like what I like to cook to at work.
Yeah, dude. He's if you I've been looking for there's only 2 albums of Dr. John's that I've been trying to find forever, and I've found them, but I've never had the money to get them whenever I get them or whenever I find them. But it's his first one, Dr. John, the Night Tripper, Gree Gree, Gumbo Yaya, or it's just called Gree Gree. But that one, and then Lockdown, which Lockdown came out in like 2012, and Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys produced it, and it's so fucking good.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you haven't ever heard Lockdown, listen to that because it's modern for of Dr. John, but
But I
it's
like
still
you grow like with the times.
yeah. There's a song on there, and I can't remember what it is, but and I'll tell you after the show because I definitely cannot remember off the top of my head what it is. But there's this song, and I know like you're not like a religious person or um, and I don't look at it as religious, but it's like this spiritual song, and it's basically talking about like how he tried and like it's weird because it was at the very end of his life. That's another episode that we should do. To be honest, we need to. I need to write that down. But like people like bands or artists that have prophesized their own death in their music or seemingly, because that would be a fucking. Let us know in the comments if that would be a dope episode to cover because there's a few off the top of my head that I'm like there. It seemed like he knew he was gonna die. Same as Black Star by David Bowie, his last album. The album or the music video is literally him in the hospital, like dying, and so it's kind of
That's
weird.
crazy.
Yeah, I guess I think he had. That might be a long shot because I think he may have actually already had cancer when he recorded that. So I think he knew. So that one's not as crazy, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. So yeah, Dr. John. We got off on the Dr. John spiel
Dr.
here.
Johnny.
But yeah. So we'll go ahead and get into. Do you have any fictions today?
No,
Okay.
actually.
I have 3, and we'll go ahead and we'll do Phantom Sam and the fictions, and then we'll get to the topic after the jam portion of the show.
Hold on. Can I tell you something?
Sure, go for
So
it.
okay,
Of course.
it's a funny story. So I just want, but I woke up in the middle of the night. Right, my arm was fucking hurting. Right. What does that look like to you? It looks like some like demon ass shit. There's like a line there, line there, line there, line there, and then like
Can you show that to the camera a little better? Yeah, I'll try to zoom in on that if I feel
was
like it.
what the, and it burned. It like burned. Like I was like, fuck, and it was like all welted and shit. I was like, there's no way that I did that.
Dude, that's weird because I have stigmata as well. No, my dog did that. So actually, I did that with my dog.
He just used to grab its paw, or
No, what had happened was
well,
she
what
wasn't.
happened was
Well, what happened was, no, she was like we were playing because I like to try to like stimulate her with her toy and stuff for a little bit every morning. Trying to give her a routine. She's a stupid ass fucking little puppy who sucks right now. She'll get better, I'm sure. But no, I was like hitting her with the toy, like bopping her, and then like I threw it, and then I was like sit, and she actually sat, and she was doing good. And I think I can't remember how exactly it happened, but I like swung, and she was just like this, and my hand went through her mouth, and that was her little baby tooth. So like I did it by accident with her tooth. So she didn't even bite me or anything. And then so I felt so stupid. I was like, dude, I can't even get mad at her because I did it.
You just credit card her mouth and you
Yeah.
got cut.
It kind of sucks, but um,
I just thought that was funny as fuck, dude.
yeah, demonic possession and is fun. Yeah, being that's kind of wild, man. I feel like maybe we're fucking with the universe here or something. I don't know, man. I got the fucking dog stigmata, and you got the fucking demon sleeps. What's
Demon
that?
Sleeps.
What's that?
Band name.
That could be a band name. We can't use it now though because we just came up with it here. So
Well, we'll let the audience figure that one out.
yeah, dog stigmata and demon sleep. Those are both good band names, actually. Yeah, dude. Dog stigmata and demon sleep. They would tour together too. Those are good.
Shit.
But yeah, those are good. So I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna segue into the segment of the show called Phantom Sam and the Fictions. This is the part of the show, the segment of the show where over the course of the week I'll come up with fictitious band names and we'll talk about all sorts of fun things like what type of genre we think they'd be, who they'd open for, what their debut album would be called, anything like that, or even their stage aesthetic like pajamas or alien outfits, Guar. But fictitious band name number 1, Stink Machine.
Oh fuck, that's good.
Stink Machine. What genre? We'll start obviously.
Fucking bluegrass, dude.
Stink Machine?
Yes.
Why is everything bluegrass to you?
Is it really?
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, I think it's bluegrass. It could be literally dog stigmata, and you'd be like, I think it's bluegrass, but like an electric washboard.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Dun, 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 dun.
Do they make those?
I'm sure somebody has tried.
But that's actually cool.
No, well, it would be.
Electric
Yeah.
washboard,
Yeah,
throw
yeah.
like just all sorts of effects on it.
You ever
and
watch
shit.
Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Do you ever remember whenever Cosmo? There's like an episode where Cosmo's like, "I play the electric triangle,"
Oh yeah.
and he's like, "Brrr," and electrocutes him. That reminded me of that. But Stink Machine. I mean, I'm not knocking the bluegrass thing. I just think it's funny to acknowledge that you always say that. But Stink Machine, I think it's like a psychedelic bluegrass, or like not psychedelic, but like electro bluegrass.
I feel like it'd be like definitely instrumental. 'Cause I can still like see lasers and shit.
Yeah,
and,
it'd
like
be-
fog, which I hate fog.
Yeah, fuck fog. But yeah, I think we're meeting in the middle here. It'd be bluegrass music, but it'd be like electro, like almost like it's hard to explain, man.
Well, I want to almost say dubstep, but I don't think that's quite correct.
Oh, grass step. They'd be like a
That would be interesting.
grass step. Yeah.
Because honestly, dubstep was dope.
It would have yodeling and banjos, but also
I love that.
yo. Yeah, dude. Who do you think they'd open for?
Fuck.
Focus. Not the I'm talking about the band Focus, not telling you to focus. I can't even think of that song, but it has yodeling in it.
All I got, I don't know, is weird, but I think of that song from that cover by the Slits. I think it was the Slits.
What, the Heard It Through the Grapevine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. They're not like
That's the only song I know like ever heard by them. So
right.
Ooh.
I honestly think that's probably the only song. I've
or
heard.
like I know you probably haven't heard of Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
I mean, I have listened to it because of you, because you did a couple Sunday Spun Days of them. But
Yeah, because they're salmonella. Salmonella envelope
yeah.
is like it definitely would fit with that whole album.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I think all of these fictitious band names I have today would tour together. But We were talking about. You said Jimmy's Crab Shack
No,
or
Chicken
Chicken
Shack.
Shack Crab. I'm
Love
talking
that.
about.
This is such a dope band name.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I would agree with that. I always think Primus too for some reason, but
I feel like always say Promise too.
or they'd open for Ween. I'm a big Ween fan.
Fuck it, Guar.
Yeah. No, I think the next one of the other. I think all of these would probably open for Guar. To be honest, but so they are Grass Step opening for Jimmy's Chicken Shack, Joe's Crab Shack,
Joe's Crab Shack, Shrimp Daddies.
Shrimp Daddies, yeah, and yeah, Ween, Primus, all that sort of thing. Fictitious band name number 2, which is actually my favorite on this list, Goop Trap. And let me specify because Nichelle told me to enunciate this very well. Goop Trap, not the racial slur for Asian people. Goop Trap, Goop Trap, Goop Trap. I'll tell you the background story for this. I comb my beard up every morning, and then I brush it down. Adds maximum volume, makes your beard voluptuous.
I love that word.
Yeah, it is a nice word, but I combed my voluptuous.
Yeah.
No, it's like volume, like big voluptuous.
Oh, that's probably the first time I've ever heard that.
You haven't heard a lot of words then. But no, voluptuous beard, and so it was like this. And then I was eating my like protein. I always call it my goop soup because I just say random shit all the time about like Nichelle never knows what I'm talking about. But I'm like eating my protein goop that I make, and I dropped some in my beard, and I was like, dude, I should have brushed my beard down because all I did was create a goop trap. Yeah.
Envision that.
Yeah. Well, I do it.
We drop the whole spoonful and it just be.
I never do that. I'm a little. I can handle it a little. Yeah.
But that's what I envision.
I'm not that much of a little man child, but Goop Trap though. See, I think that they would tour with Stink Machine. I feel like they go together. Goop Trap, Stink Machine, blah 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 blah. But yeah. So Goop Trap. What do you think? Dude, I feel like they're fucking another type of dubstep for some reason, or like trap jazz or something. Like,
dude, it has to be trap because it's
yeah, Goop Trap. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Goop Trap. So, Goop Trap, 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 Goop Trap. They would open for Chumbawamba.
Infected Mushroom.
Yep. Well, I think we got it. They're at least trap, something trap, jazz trap, jazz step. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. And they would open for whatever.
You ever heard of Infected Mushroom?
I have. I've heard the name. I don't think that I've quite.
They're pretty good.
I don't think I've listened to
that.
them.
Well, whatever the fuck. I guess you can't say there is one guy or one person, maybe. Unless, how would you like turn that shit into instruments? Like,
what do you mean?
Like how the step sounds and stuff. Like, how could you do that with instruments?
Oh, dude, have you never seen Moon Hooch?
Dude, that name is on point too.
Dude, Moon Hooch is a bunch of. It's like trombones and trumpets, and then a drummer and I believe it's 2 saxophone players, but they have giant traffic cones jammed in there, and they'll do like boom, 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 and the drummer is like does like dubstep rhythms.
Okay, that's neat.
Yeah, so I think that's the closest I've ever seen it myself be actually represented or interpreted
So I've
into
always
live.
thought about that.
Yeah.
And that's cool how you can do that with a saxophone.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so into the saxophone. Like I want to be a saxophone player more than anything. I think it's the sexiest instrument in the world. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't like reed instruments because I used first instrument I played was a clarinet, and I don't like fucking reeds.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I don't think I ever actually auditioned for, because when you're in band, they make you try everything first, where I'm from anyway. And I tried everything, but I wanted to be a drummer. Like that's what I wanted to do. And I don't know why they didn't let me, because they choose their instrument for you, which is kind of fucking stupid.
What's the point?
And
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, what's the point of like doing music if you're not allowed to pick the instrument you
Yeah.
play? It's retarded.
Yeah, they thought that I was most suited for trombone. That's why I started trombone on the trombone first. But it's like, dude, I was so upset. But then I was like, I guess I'm fucking do what they want me to, because I want to be a part of it.
That's probably why I didn't do band in high school.
I only did it for a year.
And it was 5th grade. It was the only time I did.
Same, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I moved here in 6th grade.
Band, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah. But where were we? Goop Trap. We decided they were jazz step trap, open for Infectious Mushroom, and whatever fucking band I said. I don't even remember what band I said, but
I don't either. The camera does.
Yeah. Well, whatever I said is. Well, I was gonna try to
that would have been nuts if you just like
recalled it.
Yeah.
I actually real time rewound.
Fuck, he can actually do that.
Goop Trap. But we'll move on from there. Fictitious band name number 3, Electric Mold. Not the coolest one out of all of them, but still dope. I don't even remember what the fucking
visuals
backstory
is. Just mold dancing.
Yeah, Electric Mold. But you see what I mean? It's like I feel like all these bands kind of fit together.
They do.
And they would Electric Mold. I feel like they would be like a electronic goth, like industrial goth band. Like fucking do you remember I think it was Eye Creatures? We played with them at the Blue Cow Underground.
That last band.
Yeah, it was Clancy Leakey.
Yeah.
His band, where it was like industrial, like that type of like almost like goth, and like you know what I mean, like if like almost like not Rammstein, however you pronounce it, not like them, but like
Nine Inch Nails.
Like. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid that because Nine Inch Nails isn't. They're obviously industrial, but I'm thinking of like something. There's a specific song I'm trying to think of, but I can't remember. But I think it is a Rammstein song, but like that.
I'm not really into those guys.
I'm not either, but I was in like 6th grade. I was like, yeah, dude, fucking Rammstein.
That's probably when Triple X came out, wasn't it?
I actually knew of Rammstein before that, and then I didn't even realize that song was in that movie. I heard it on Jackass and CKY and Viva La Bam.
Okay.
Yeah, as I was like super into that culture for a long time whenever I was in my youth. But yeah, I feel like Electric Mold would open up for a Rammstein or Guar. Guar and Rammstein, but it's, you know what I mean, like that fucking almost like industrial techno, but there's a little bit of shroomage happening, I think. Something.
Swirling.
Yeah. But I think we got that one on lock, right?
I think so.
Alright, well guess what, guys? It's that time of the show. It's time for the jam sandwich. So,
oh my God, you better get that Sammy.
That's true. What we talking bread, and we're fucking putting the jam right in the middle of the show. So, that being said, stick around after, and we'll talk about the funk monks, the groove gurus, or the false predatory prophets misusing the magic of music for the profit and power of the people. If you're interested, stick around after the jam. And with that being said, I already said that. So without this being said that I already said, cue the jam portion of the show.
Lunacy.
Fucking lunacy, dog.
Ow.
I know, I screamed into the mic, but...
No, my head was down there.
Oh, shit. Well, now you know how I feel whenever I'm trying to fucking set up my board at a show, and you're sitting there beating on your beaters.
On your beaters?
Yeah, dog.
I'll give you that. That was good.
Well, shit, guys.
On your beaters, I don't know.
You have made it to the jam portion of the show.
Motherfucker.
And that's a good thing. We're here right in smack dab in the center of the jam sandwich.
The sandwich.
We're right in we're in the mucky muck right now. We're in the gooey bits. All right, now let's hop to.
What a great place to hold your sticks.
That's debatably the worst.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the key and quality.
Nice.
Space Game's got the key and the quality dice, and I have the accent and the time signature dice. We're going to go ahead and we're going to shake it, and we're going to hit this timer, and we're going to do where to get at it. And we're going to do our best, and you're not going to make fun of us.
But they will. They will.
They will make fun of us, but I will say that nothing you say is going to be worse than what I'm going to say to myself in the mirror later about this. So. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What you got?
I think that's a 7 and a C.
C?
Yeah.
And then a 7.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see that. Let me see. Okay, so 7.
What was that? C?
Yeah, it's a C. And you got 7, 4.
What the fuck?
But we got a funk formula right now because we got an accent on the 1
Ooh!
and the 7, which is 7th chord is funk.
Well, that did not work out there, baby.
What you got? I'm gonna read it. I just want to show you here.
Fuck, how do you know that? Just figure that out. Like, I don't understand that. So how can you distribute, like, how do you know the difference between everything? Like, because I don't understand. Like with different keys, and like, how do you count, or how do you, like, get to that? I don't understand.
You know, that's a good question because I don't know.
How does it
played
work?
long enough that I just know where everything is. I don't know.
I guess that's
I guess I don't know what you mean.
Fuck.
Like, where if I know that this is like a G,
Yeah.
how do I know that?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's technically not a G. That's actually a. This is technically a G, but I play a half step down. So relative to me playing, that's a G, but not technically. But,
Oh, side note, but this is also works with this with the show. So yesterday when I was getting that tattoo, the tattoo artist asked what defines me from other musicians.
he asked to you?
What defines me? What makes me different from everybody else? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, because I don't know.
I feel like that's not a question for you.
Yeah, that's
You know
exactly
what I mean?
that was my answer. I was like, dude, I don't even think that's even a question that I can answer. That's for somebody else to answer.
Yeah. Your duty is just to be you.
Yeah, and I was,
You know.
I was like, I was like, trip me up because I
That is a wild question.
Yeah,
It really is.
so. Yeah, because I don't know. I felt that is a really good thing to bring up on the show because that was
For sure.
that it blew my mind. It's like, I can't even answer that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that because because you don't have a mic and I don't even know if this does a pretty good decent job of picking up my voice through here because I usually had that monitor pointing up at the camera, so
Right.
we get it good. But I'll say this: Space Camp was asked a question by whom? It doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
But he was asked a question: what defines, what sets him apart essentially from other musicians? What is the definitive difference that sets him apart from other drummers or other musicians? And it's kind of a wild question, because I don't know if you heard me a second ago, but I feel like that's not a question
Yeah.
to be answered by the musician themselves. I feel like that's for other people to tell you. I think it is your duty to do you, boo-boo. It's your duty to do you, boo-boo. All right?
Boo, boo.
You don't need to define yourself to anybody.
No, this stuff was a wild ass fucking question.
But that is a very good question.
And I was like, holy fuck! I spent all night thinking about it.
Yeah. It's kind of like psyche shattering. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
But it's also like a kind of an egotistical question. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like
I couldn't even answer it because I don't know.
I feel like you shouldn't,
Yeah.
because then that's egotistical. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what makes me special? It's like, it's not your duty to
Yeah.
decide what makes you special. I feel like it's, you just do you and do it how you do it.
Yeah, no, that was a fucking crazy question. And I was like, damn, dude.
But nonetheless, a great question. All right, let's get on with it. But, so, and that was very good. That was a good thing a good topic to bring up in a show. I like that a lot. But today's roll of the dice for the jam portion of the show, it was nice. We have the key of C with a quality of 7th. We have a time signature of 7/4 with an accent on the 1. I will repeat. We have the key of C. We have the quality of 7th. We have a time signature of 7/4 with an accent on the 1. Without further ado,
I think I was supposed to say something there. I froze.
we're fucking just getting back at this. So. It's been a while. We've been on tour.
Okay, so what is 4? 740 or something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. found something new that I wanted to fucking get. Yeah, we're a little over, but it is what it is. Yeah, I was trying to get that fucking ending there. I don't know. But honestly, though, that started out in 7/4, and then, yeah, we kind of got away from it.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, this is kind of groovy.
Well, but we always, like, some weird way, always came back to fucking one. Weird. Right? Monkey toes.
Yeah, we definitely, the accent one is easy.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Stick around for the rest of the show.
Bang! Bada boom!
And we're back from the jam.
What is happening?
Let's hope that that was a good jam, and we hope you enjoyed the jam. We are back here for the chat of the show, and I've probably said this one too many times, but this is the topic of the show. We're discussing funk monks, groove gurus, or the false predatory prophets misusing the magic of music for the profit and or power of the people. Meaning, are these reputable musicians doing the right thing and using the power for good, or are these culty mofugs using this shit to fuck with people? And I think that me and you we're gonna discuss this, and hopefully you guys have stuff to say about it. I will say I'm not a big researcher, right? We already did one episode where I did have a lot of research, and I'm still getting the hang of this. So my research probably isn't 100%. So if there's anything that I need to be corrected on, feel free to correct me, and I will take note of it, and I will mention it in the next episode. The thing that sucks about this, too, is I got a little carried away, and there's still more that I could have done. So it's like, I feel like some of these we might be able to revisit later, like, and actually give a whole fucking episode. But so I tried. This is gonna be a long one, but we'll be all right.
Well, just wait for the research that I've done for for our next few episodes.
Well, hell yeah.
Interesting.
I'm excited for it. I really am. So we're going to, and some of these, like I said, some of these are not, quote unquote, they're not cults. I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying that these are cults, or they're misusing their power or anything. It's just up in the air. It's kind of like what are they doing? Is kind of more so the question here, or what have they done? And because it's kind of some of them are blatantly cult-like. Some of them are just a little overboard, and then some of them are, I don't think they're really cults at all, but they seem it. So seemingly are cults. But we are going to start with, given that the album of the week was Captain Beefheart's Safe as Milk, we are going to start with covering the release and the conception of the elusive album Trout Mask Replica, which is debatably one of the shittiest albums and most creative, best albums of free jazz and avant-garde that was ever created. There's a lot of debate on whether or not this album is anything of value. So if you haven't listened to Trout Mask Replica, you can pause it and go listen to it, or wait till after I'm done talking about it. But Trout Mask Replica was released in June of 1969. And it was a little bit of R&B, a little bit of garage rock, blues. It had free jazz, avant-garde type of music in it, and pretty much experimental rock. So it was completely unorthodox, unconventional music. It included, polyrhythms, polytonalities, and it was apparently one of the most challenging recordings to ever be created or recorded, right? And so basically, the story goes is that Captain Beefheart created Safe as Milk, which is a pretty tame album. It's like a blues album. He was very much into the Delta blues type of vibe and things like that. But he recorded that, and I think he was briefly with the Mother of Invention, which was Frank Zappa's band before Frank Zappa was Frank Zappa. And basically, he couldn't find. He was dropped by his label, and so he was trying to find a way back into the music industry, Captain Beefheart. And so basically, Frank Zappa, he created the labels, two record labels of his own called Bizarre and Straight, and he offered Beefheart the opportunity to record an album with complete artistic freedom. Basically, he was like, "You can do whatever you want, just leave me the fuck alone," right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, basically, he, started creating, this album, Traumatic Replica, and so, it's kind of weird because he, he they rehearsed for like 8 months, and they lived like communally, so like kind of like in a cult like manner, like a commune, you know what I mean, communally. And but I'll talk more so about like the concept of the album before I get into the culty shit. But basically, it's kind of funny because Van Vliet, who's Captain Beefheart, he used a piano to compose all of these songs, right? But he didn't know how to play the piano, which I think was kind of crazy. And it was his main compositional tool. And since he had no experience with the piano and no conventional musical knowledge at all, he was able to experience with few preconceived ideas of form or structure. So he basically was just a raw mind with no know-how. He was just doing it, which I think is fucking kind of cool, actually.
Right.
Like, it reminds me of like of say if you take you think about like if you take a child and throw them into the woods from like they've never heard music before, just give them a guitar and throw them in the woods and let them just figure it out. It's like think about like the play style, the musicality they would create, like not knowing like the traditional ways of trying to approach the
That would be
instrument.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that.
yeah, that'd be fucking wild. But what's funny is what I think is hilarious is he would, since he didn't know how to play the piano and he didn't know anything about musical composition, he would like and his bandmate would try to transcribe his patterns and notation onto actual paper and into actual songs. So he would literally be like dun 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 bum 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 dun dun, and he'd be like, "I got you, dude." You know what I mean? I don't think he was that cool about it, but you get my point. I think it was just funny. It took apparently like basically they rehearsed all of this shit. He claims that they wrote all the songs. He was a crazy motherfucker. He claimed to have write all the songs in an 8-hour session, when in reality they were written over the course of a year. And Beefheart actually ended up taking credit for everything, which is shitty. And but to this day, it's heavily disputed by the other band members, which kind of that's shitty. That's just shitty of him. But there's also, he was a little bit of a loon, so it's kind of like it's not like forgiven, but it is a little understandable, I guess, as the story goes. But so yeah, that's how he would compose all the songs, is just by like mouthing fucking notes and shit. And I'll read this. In preparation, the band rehearsed Van Vliet's difficult compositions for 8 months, living communally in a small rented house in the woodland hills of Los Angeles. He implemented his vision by asserting complete artistic and emotional domination of his musicians. This is where the culty part comes in. And they had this thing called the barrel, right? And sometimes at various times, one or another of the band members were put in the barrel, where Van Vliet would berate them continually, sometimes for days, until the musicians collapsed into tears or in total submission to his direction. Meaning, he just humiliated them into doing what he said.
Right.
Yeah, which is culty. Let's be honest, that's a little culty.
Right.
And they actually ended up describing the sessions were often included physical violence, and they would describe the situation as cult-like. And some friends that had visited them said that the environment in the house was Manson-esque, as in like Charles Manson, culty, like he was their their leader that they would follow blindly.
Right.
And it was they had no money. They had no income. They were on welfare, and their families were paying for them to live how they were living, all because of this fucking album. Let's keep that note there. But they were on a bare essential diet where they were actually he only fed them soybeans, a bowl of soybeans every day for 8 months or a year, close more so. And other than that, it was things that he would tell them to go shoplift and steal, right? And like he would be like, "I want some cheese," and they would go and they'd steal cheese for him and shit like that because he was hungry. Yeah, things like that. And they eventually got arrested. And who was there to save their ass and bail them out? None other than Mr. Frank Zappa. And apparently, I seen an interview with them where they were talking about it, and Frank Zappa like bailed them out and then never spoke about it again. Like he was actually like kind of a stand-up dude about it. He was just like, "I get it. He's a fucking lunatic. I'll just bail you out of jail, whatever."
Like understood. Oh,
Right.
that's hilarious, dude.
Another of their friends described their appearance as cadaverous, as in they looked dead. Like the bandmates were so malnourished that they looked dead, which was kind of fucking. They all looked in poor health was another quote. But the band members were restricted from leaving the house, and they practiced for 14 or more hours a day, which is fucking insane. This is where we get to the part that's a little understandable. Not forgiven, understandable, but Van Vliet told the drummer that he had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and he would see non-existent conspiracies that explained his behavior. So he was legitimately a diagnosed schizophrenic. So that's the story of Trout Mask Replica.
Dude, I like that. I like the story. Dude, I like doing the stories. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Story time.
Yeah. This next one is the story of, and this is less culty. This is one where it's like I think that they just took it a little overboard, but also it's like I would go to this church, so I don't know if they're taking it overboard because I don't. It's the story of the Church of Patron Saint John Coltrane, right? So there's a church in San Francisco, and it's called. Originally, I can't even. Like I said, I'm not great at fucking. I'm not great at. Oh, there's 2 pages stuck together. I'm not great at the research, so everything's just kind of scattered about. Like, I read from the middle of that page, but Yeah, so in San Francisco, there was a church called the Church of Saint John Coltrane, where they would basically they would worship a Love Supreme, the album. But here's the story. Okay, so it's not as culty, but I had this little snippet that I took from the actual website. But they have a thing the first Sunday of every month. It's a Love Supreme meditation, and it says, "Come calm the mind and tune into the spirit as you are guided through a meditation on the testimony and music of Saint John Coltrane's A Love Supreme. Great for old-time Coltrane lovers and new listeners as well. Join us and experience the power of this anointed sound, the music and wisdom of Saint John Coltrane."
That doesn't seem too bad.
No, no. See, I think I wanted to start the worst and kind of work my way down, but because Trout Mask Replica is straight up, that was a fucking cult. I think, at least that era of time, he was very culty. This I don't really think is a cult. I think it's more of like a legitimate. Because if you've listened to Love Supreme, there is something godly about it. Like it's no fucking joke. Like that's one of my favorite albums ever, and there's a reason. Like, but it was founded by Franco and Marina King. Franzo and Marina King were already jazz fans on the night that changed their lives. This was back when San Francisco was considered the Harlem of the West, and the Fillmore district was packed with places to hear jazz. On their first wedding anniversary in 1965, they went to hear John Coltrane play. And that night, they say the Holy Spirit walked out with Coltrane onto the stage, which was pretty much their like moment, you know. And Franco King recalled, "It was like getting caught up in a rainstorm, and we didn't know if it was going to bring a flood or flowers," which I thought was a brilliant quote. I don't know why. I think that's beautiful. But they basically experienced a spiritual awakening seeing him for the first time, and they considered his horn. They called it a sound baptism, which I thought was another fucking cool thing. Dude, I'm not. This isn't a cult at all. This is just fucking brilliant, dude. I want to go to this church. If we're ever in San Francisco on a Sunday, we're going to this fucking church, dude. Yeah, for sure. And the Kings basically they saw the Holy Trinity in the titles of the first in the titles of the songs of A Love Supreme. There's A Love Supreme Part 1, Acknowledgement, 2, Resolution, and 3, Pursuance. And they basically perceive the Trinity in the three building blocks of Western music, which is melody, harmony, and rhythm. And which is kind of crazy. And the Resolution is that one that I was showing you, that riff. I was like, this is my favorite riff ever. That fucking. I don't even know. But I totally didn't do that justice. I ruined this fucking show. Jesus Christ. No, if you know Love Supreme, you know what I'm fucking talking about. But Resolution, it's probably the best jazz song ever made, in my opinion. Other than Take 5 by Dave Brubeck, but that's for a totally different time. But it was kind of cool, like Charlie Parker. I don't know if you know Charlie Parker, the jazz musician, but they considered him John the Baptist, which I was going to actually put a little note in defining who John the Baptist is, but my knowledge of religion is very scarce, and I'm not even quite sure who the fuck John the Baptist is. But nonetheless, Charlie Parker is John the Baptist to them. This is where it gets fucking crazy, right? So, do you remember when we were in Lincoln? I was looking for an Alice Coltrane record. Okay, so Alice Coltrane, they actually, after John Coltrane's passing, they actually met Alice Coltrane at a concert. They found her. They actually, I don't want to say weaseled, but they worked their way to her dressing room and they found her and they got to meet her, right? And she actually told them that they were doing God's work by having this church and this belief system based around her late husband, which I think was kind of crazy. But they began to regard her as their guru, and they actually became part of Alice Coltrane's religious community, which was a interpretation of Hindu beliefs, and they were even recorded like songs, devotional songs to Hindu with her and stuff, which was kind of crazy. But out of nowhere, basically, they were like, she basically sued them because they were using his name as God, and she didn't really like that anymore. I guess I don't know if she had a change of heart, but the lawsuit was later dropped, but they didn't know why. They still don't know why. She just out of nowhere dropped the fucking shit. And since they were basically financially compromised by this lawsuit and like court costs and things like that, they didn't have a lot of money to keep the church going, but they wanted to. And so the publicity of it actually garnered the attention of the African Orthodox Church, and they were basically like, we'll take your belief system into, we'll take the church essentially, and but their condition with them joining the African Orthodox Church, the Kings basically had to take John Coltrane's rank as the god of their belief system, and they had to make him the patron saint because they didn't believe in worshiping somebody else that's not God as God, basically. And so he was reduced to the incarnate of the patron saint. And they agreed, and they basically did that. And they quote, "We recognize that John Coltrane is a saint because we have been born anew in the Spirit of the Lord and baptized in that anointed sound." He says, "We don't worship him and we don't exalt him. We recognize him. When I grew up in that sanctified Pentecostal church, everybody that had been saved is what we would have called sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. The Pentecostal church wasn't waiting on a bunch of Roman cardinals to get together and count miracles." And basically, the king's daughter became a reverend as well later on. And I thought this was kind of interesting. She's quoted as saying, "We look at Jesus' life and how he lived it as an uncompromising revolutionary, speaking truth to power and giving his life ultimately for the freedom of humanity. John Coltrane, in so many ways, was an expression of that same spirit, an evolutionary transcendent expression of the spirit that we see in Jesus Christ." She says Coltrane was a vessel. His life allowed young people like the Kings and to see the Spirit of Christ in another way, to see the truth coming from something that looked like them, something that spoke to them in their language, and their language was jazz. So I don't look down on anything that's like, if that's the way that God's going to speak to you, if he's going to come through jazz to you, what do we have to say about that?
Right.
You know what I mean? We can't really knock that. Because there's a lot of God. Like music, like I've said this before, but music is God. It's like, that's just the way that it is. And but today they did have to change the name of the church, and the Coltrane Church is now called St. John Will.I.Am Coltrane African Orthodox Church, which is a long-winded name, and I don't like it. But yeah, so that wraps it up. I don't that one doesn't sound very very culty though. That one's a very spiritual thing, I think, and I'm very unfortunate, to be honest with you, about the whole like court shit and all
Right.
that. But basically, now I have. Let's keep this rolling. Honestly, I might save that one for its own episode because that's like a lot to fucking deal with. But maybe not. Let's just do that. Yep. Sorry, I'm still learning. But there's this. Basically, there's this. Next is the story of the Source family, which is a basically the epitome of a '70s hippie cult. Basically, hippie commune, and it was led by this guy named Father Yod, right? Which he was born James Edward Baker, and but he goes by Father Yod, and basically he was the religious movement founder and owner of one of the country's first health food restaurants on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, which is kind of crazy. But he was heavily influenced by the teachings of Yogi Bhajan and the astrological age of Aquarius. They practiced communal living in Southern California and later in Hawaii, but he was also the frontman of the commune's experimental psychedelic rock band, Yahowah 13, which I listened to some of this Yahowah 13, and it's fucking dope, dude. It's literally right up my fucking alley. And I can't. This might be one of those fucking groups that I fucking follow into eternity blindly. I'm not sure. But a little background to Father Yod. He was born in 1922, and he was in the Marine Corps during World War II. And he was a Marine Corps in World War II, and he actually became an expert in jiu-jitsu. And he became a Hollywood stuntman, which is fucking nuts. He did a lot of this shit, right? But this whole time he lived a natural lifestyle, maintained a vegetarian diet, lived according to nature's laws, and he began to study philosophy, religion, esoteric spiritual teachings, and then became a Vedantic monk for a short time under the leader Yogi Bhajan, a spiritual leader and teacher of Kundalini yoga. And so later on, he founded founded the Source Restaurant, which was a restaurant serving organic and vegetarian food. And John Lennon used to go there. Marlon Brando used to go there. Just fucking, he got a lot of fucking people, like celebrities, coming into this restaurant, which is also kind of wild. And he had two other restaurants after that became successful as well, called the Aware Inn and the Old World. And he only had one legal wife as James Baker. Her name was Robin Popper, to whom he was married in 1970, but there was claims he had 14 different wives. Culty. But it says they had a daughter together, Tao, born August 14th, 1974. Robin said that at a time he was a dirty old man on a lust trip. Right? I don't know exactly what that entails, but it sounds dirty and lusty.
Right.
But he created his own philosophy based on Western mystical traditions, esoteric beliefs, and things like that, and he changed his name to Father Yod and Yahowah. Baker became the patriarch of a commune of young people who considered him their spiritual father. The group known as the Source family. They lived together in the Hollywood Hills, and supported by the earnings of the restaurant, which grossed like $10,000 a day during its peak popularity, which is fucking wild for the 70s. But some of the it says some of the doctrines of the Source family were kept secret, but they generally adopted a way of life that promoted natural health, organic vegetarian diets, communal living, and utopian ideals. Father Yod had a core communal group of 150 people living in Los Feliz. He, as Father Yod, and Yahowah had 14 wives and 3 children, debatably or allegedly. His wives, this is how hippie this shit is. His wives were named Makushla, Isis, Astral, Heaven, Prism, Aqua Rihanna, Harvest Moon, Galaxy, Lovely, Peralda, Hypatia, Tantaleo and Venus, with Robin, who also later forming the group. Robin was renamed Aham, which is and his three children were Tau, Buttercup, and Yod, which I think is kind of funny. All the records that they made with the Yahoo Wah 13 though were they made records without him, but with all the Father Yod's all the records that he participated in the recording of were completely improvised, no rehearsals, no overdubs, and they were pressed into like 500 to 1,000 copies on I believe it's their own label, and they were the only place they were sold were in his restaurants, which was kind of dope. So there's actually ones floating around out there, and they're some of the rarest records. And if I ever see a Yahoo Wah 13 record, I'm gonna fucking buy it because it's also dope music, no matter how culty they are or whatever. But yeah, he was inspired by the proto hippie lifestyle, and he basically it was natural living and far out ideas like sex magic, which is fucking sounds sexy, but yeah, he developed a daily routine for the family consisting of 40 instructions that included chanting Yahweh throughout the day, breathing techniques, meditation, visualization, kindness to strangers, and a 6-count inhalation of the sacred herb. Cannabis. Weed. Yeah. But I don't see why this is even that bad. One of his fucking 40 instructions that including the chanting throughout the day and the breathing and meditation and smoking fucking pot and being nice to people? How is that bad? I don't know. That's not bad at all. Fuck you guys for thinking he's bad. But this is the thing is they lived in the Hollywood Hills, and they eventually decided, as every cult, they're kind of pushed out on the wayside sometimes, and they'll try to secure like an offshore, like I'm not trying to compare them at all, but like Jonestown and a lot of these other cults, they found like property in other countries so that they could go and try to start their own like governed society outside of the ideals of America and the laws of America. So they tried to go to Hawaii, but they weren't. They were not perceived well in Hawaii. They weren't much liked there. But Father Yod died in a hang gliding accident in Hawaii. That was his demise, was flying, which was
That's crazy.
kind of funny, yeah. So your Father Yod died hang gliding in Hawaii. Order it up. But
Buttercup.
I looked at some reviews because there's a movie about it called The Source Family. And this one guy, I guess right before he flew off the cliff, he said the lines, "I'm just a man," which I thought was kind of wild. But there is a guy on a review. I quoted him here because it was just kind of interesting. But he came to his senses shortly before entering eternity. Sounds like a strange thing to say about a guy that flew off a cliff, but he said, "I'm just a man," right before he flew off the cliff. So basically he had this like, "I am your spiritual father and you do all these things that I ask and be nice to people." That's not that much. I already said that. But telling all these people what to do and shit, but then he's at the very end, right before, it's like almost he knew he was going to die. He's like, "I'm just a man." And it's like, so I don't think he was that bad of a guy. Because he admitted before he died that he was not God, essentially, or the Messiah, or Jesus, or anything, you know. But that's the story of the Source family. And see, that's one that I could have put so much more shit into. And I do have one more, and it's the shortest. But you know, if we're gonna do this, we got to do it right. These might end up being longer episodes. So, I hope I'm not boring you.
You're right.
I'm alright. No. This is actually my favorite, too. What the fuck just happened? Was that?
I have no idea.
I'm scared now. But this next one, I've been listening to him incessantly the past few days, but Fela Kuti and his Calcutta Republic, which I never knew this about Fela Kuti, but he's the pioneer of Afrobeat music. And he was kind of along the same realms of as like James Brown and these big band leaders at the time. And basically Afrobeat became, like almost like tribal jazz funk type of fusion, right? You're I think you're well aware as to what Afrobeat is, but Fela Kuti is the father of Afrobeat. And he had this place called the Calcutta Republic because it was a compound in Nigeria established in 1970 that housed his band and other skilled workers. Calcutta Republic was the name musician and political activist Fela Kuti gave to the communal compound that housed his family, band members, and recording studio. So basically, he had everything that he could ever need here. His family, his band is there, his recording studio is there. He even had a free health clinic and obviously a recording facility. So he declared it because he was a very strong figure in political activism in Africa, because Africa was in a big shitstorm at the time, as a lot of countries were. But Africa wasn't. Lagos and Nigeria and stuff was not in a good state at the time, and he wasn't very fond of the political leaders at the time. So he was very outspoken about it. And if you listen to his music, a lot of it is, you can tell that he's like, fuck the government, fuck you guys. Pretty much every song could just be summed up as fuck you.
Right.
And but he actually declared it independent from the state that was ruled by this military faction, and because he returned from the United States in 1970, and but in 1977, shortly after, I believe, he just released his most popular album, which was called Zombie, and he made a record. He made the record called Zombie about the Nigerian military regime, and in the song, soldiers were called zombies for obeying orders blindly. And even one of the songs says, "Zombie no go walk unless you tell him to walk," and which is fucking funny. I don't know. But Calcutta Republic was a mockery of a prison cell named Calcutta that Fela inhabited. And it originally derived from the infamous black hole of Calcutta dungeon in India, which I don't know what is. That's why I'm so bad at research. But basically, he was like, hey, dude, I'm going to release this album. You fucking military regime, you suck. You fucking suck hard. And in retaliation, basically the army sent 1,000 soldiers to assault his Calcutta Republic compound in 1977, and they burned it all to the ground. They even beat everybody, not to death, but they brutally beat everybody. One thing that they did do, which was super fucked up, is they beat the fuck out of his own mother, out of Fela Kuti's mom, and threw her out of a second-story window.
Jesus.
Right? And she eventually was put in the hospital, and I believe they thrown from a window of the second floor, and she died after being in a coma for 8 weeks. And yeah, which that's the saddest part, is it's like, what the fuck, that's what's wild about music, and why I think music is such a magic force, is because he wrote a song, made an album based around this song, put it out, and somebody got so upset about it that they send 1,000 soldiers to his fucking compound, burn it to the ground, throw his own mother out of a second-story window, killing her eventually. This is the coolest fucking part. So, the political leader at the time, Obasanjo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, But basically, after he burned the compound to the ground and his mom died, he took a coffin symbolic of his mother's coffin, and he drug it literally all the way to the political office. I don't know what they would call it, but pretty much to the political leader to basically show him, like, you killed my mom, you're responsible for killing my mom. Not the military, because they're the zombies, and you're the leader. And I believe they put him in prison for for doing that, which I think is fucking wild.
That's crazy, dude.
Like, just dragging a coffin up that shit. But to commemorate the 1 year anniversary of the Calcutta Republic, he married 27 of his backup singers in a mass wedding ceremony at the office of his lawyer. According to Fella, when a woman was in danger of being left destitute, it was the duty of a man in her community to marry her as a means of offering protection. Fella said that he would not have marital relations with all of the women, as the tabloids suggested at the time, but had married them as they could not find employment after the recording studio had been burned down. So he secretly, 2 days later, he secretly married the 27 women known as his queens. Yeah, dude. So not only did he was like, I'm going to drag this coffin up, my dead mom's coffin up, and show you that you fucking killed my mom, but you know what? I'm going to double down, motherfucker. I'm marrying 27 women despite what you have to fucking say about it. Fuck you, dude. These are my queens, dog. But this is the ending of the story here, and you can decide if that doesn't sound culty to me either, but it's just an interesting story.
Right.
And just the fact of a compound and being apart from the government is kind of communal living is kind of considered culty. There's a bad stigma to it, but this I don't consider to be a cult. But what's the moral of the story? Not the moral of the story, but the ending of the story ends by in 2012, the governor of Lagos, he basically started an initiative to rebuild the compound, and they turned it into the Fela Kuti Museum. So they actually rebuilt it, but it's called the Calcutta Republic Museum. It opened on October 15th of 2012 in commemoration of Fela's 74th birthday. And it has his clothes in it, instruments, artwork, and there's a restaurant and a hotel in it as well. So if we're ever for some reason in Lagos, was it in Lagos? Yeah.
Where's that at?
Nigeria. So if we're ever there, we're going to this fucking museum. 'Cause that'd be cool. I love Fela Kuti, dude. I've been fucking playing him constantly, and I love his fucking vibe, dude. He's literally just the fucking greatest. He's a saxophone player as well. That's what got me. So not really into saxophone. I've always been into saxophone, but I'm just on this fucking kick lately. But yeah, I hope everybody stuck around for that, and I want you to form your own opinions. If you, and like I said, I'm still new at this. I'm not really into these crazy, long-winded, informational based things, but I'm really interested in these topics and these things and music history and all that shit. And it's up to you to basically decide if these guys are funk monks, groove gurus, or false predatory prophets misusing the magic of music for profit and or power. We don't know, or whatnot. I do have a few special mentions. David Koresh and the Branch Davidians. I guess Koresh saw himself as the final prophet and the manifestation of Christ, but he also released an album, a folk rock album called Songs for Grandpa. Interesting.
What the shit?
I thought that was funny. Yeah. There's also
I got something for you, Grandpa.
And I don't know if you knew this, but the Juggalos the fans of the insane ICP, the Insane Clown Posse, they actually believe in a non-denominational spiritual magic. So they're low-key, not a cult, but a tribe of people. I thought that was worth mentioning. The Juggalos are kind of like a special little group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite go as far as to call them a cult, but they do have a tribe mentality. And then, of course, I wasn't going to cover this one, but this is because this is the obvious one. But Charles Manson and the Manson family, he recorded briefly with the Beach Boys in Brian Wilson's home studio, and they actually released his first album called Lie, The Love and Terror Cult, which I thought was interesting, which actually has some good fucking music on it. Like, there's a song called Look at Your Game, Girl. We used to sing that in high school, which is fucking weird. Me and my buddy, because we were like, it was just interesting to be like, dude, this cult leader has music out there. It's like, look at your game, girl. And I know the chords to it. I could probably play it, but that's for another time. But after Manson was imprisoned, the family went to all gathered at Spawn Ranch, which is where the Manson family's basically their commune was, and recorded a thing called Family Jams. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And a lot of the songs they didn't know apparently, and so they were just like trying to figure out the lyrics as they were recording it, which is kind of cool. But I haven't listened to it, but it sounded interesting. But yeah. So that was that's it for that. The special mentions. It's fucking wild. Yeah, I hope that that wasn't too fucking boring for you guys to listen to. I thought it was interesting, and I learned a lot with just researching it and having fun with it. But a lot of it I got from Wikipedia, which
Gaggle.
as one researcher would. So, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong about anything, or if you have anything to add, please add. I'm not a historian. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a fucking professor. I'm not anything.
You're just Taylor.
I am a man. I'm just a man. In the words of Father Yod, I am just a man. But, do you have any last words, Space Camp?
No.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
All right.
It was interesting.
Well, on the next episode, you get to fucking be the one that's talking.
Yeah, I know. I was like, eh.
But, that being said, we are going to live with cause and leave the results to the great law of the universe. And we are going to pass each and every day in careful contemplation. We're going to be patient, and we're going to be present in our fucking lives. Put down the fucking phone after this episode, of course. And
stay funky, y'all.
Stay funky, stay groovy, everybody. We're going to be kind to ourselves, we're going to be kind to animals, and we're going to be kind to others. Why don't you play us out? Yeah. No, do it again. Yeah. We are Phantom Sam, and we're gonna start our own cult, and you will blindly follow us. We are Phantom Sam, and this has been Art of the Jam. Do that again. This is we are Phantom Sam, and this has been Art of the Jam. Without further ado, we brought to you
Art of the Jam.
Art of the Jam. Beautiful. Catch us next time.